embrace the reality that survival meant risk and more death. The post-Vietnam aversion to casualties was in the past. Within the U.S. government, only the CIA knew Afghanistan. America had abandoned Afghanistan after the Cold War, but a small band within the CIA had vigilantly observed the growing power of Islamic fundamentalists. For more than 2 years, it had sent small teams into the country to assist leaders of the Northern Alliance, the Taliban's foes, and Afghanistan's resistance. The Pentagon had no military plan for Afghanistan, and so it was that in the country's hour of need, the agency was called upon to lead America's response. First Casualty is the story of Team Alpha, a group of 8 Americans who were at the forefront of that response and became the first to fight behind enemy lines after 9/11. It is a rousing tale of the remarkable success they achieved when, for perhaps 6 weeks, the CIA ran the war. These men brought regional expertise, language skills, and a focus on tribal dynamics and human psychology, as well as a warrior ethos and elite military skills. The power delegated to them took their breath away. This was a war directed on the battlefield, not from 20,000 feet above or 7,000 miles away. Each day, Team Alpha members lived on a knife edge and made decisions of strategic consequence. Knowing the axiom that in war the first casualty is the plan, they embraced flexibility and improvisation, drawing on the legacy of the wartime Office of Strategic Services, OSS, the forerunner of the CIA. Along with the Green Berets, Team Alpha's officers were insurgents engaging in unconventional warfare by, with, and through indigenous allies, a concept that later became part of U.S. military doctrine. They helped the resistance overthrow Afghanistan's oppressors. It was a formula that worked, in a place where historically almost nothing had. By December 2001, 10 CIA teams, including Team Alpha and totaling a few dozen CIA officers, had secured victory across Afghanistan. Fighting alongside them were Special Forces troops operating symbiotically with U.S. air power. Among those troops was a unit from Britain's Special Boat Service, SBS, operating in the tradition of their country's Special Operations Executive, SOE, which inspired the OSS. Jettisoning a directive that restricted their ability to fight, the SBS headed toward the sound of gunfire. The complexity of Afghanistan was apparent to Team Alpha. False surrenders, switching sides, warlord machinations, prisoner abuse, suicide attacks, and ethnic ferment were facts of life. This was a country, if it was a country at all, that could not be controlled. After the surviving members of Team Alpha left Afghanistan, the U.S. military took over, and American forces became occupiers rather than insurgents. Conventional troops poured into the country, and fortified bases were established. The United States sought to impose democracy and a central government in Kabul. Rather than allowing warlord rivalries to play out in a deeply traditional society of ethnic and regional patchworks, the U.S. excluded leaders it found unpalatable. Western standards of morality and fair play were applied, even retrospectively, as the U.S. tried to create a nation in its own image. Early success became a long, drawn-out failure. First Casualty tells the story of the opening chapter in a new era of history, when a resolute America was confident in what could be done, and the CIA seized the opportunity to do it. It is an inspiring story of what was achieved then, and a plaintive one of what might have been since. Who's Who? For a comprehensive list of who's who, consult your PDF. Chapter 1.